Hello, good morning and welcome to my Suzuki. We have another video for you today. Today it is going to be an overview of the infotainment system that we have moved on to. We previously pretty much adopted the Octa-Core head units, which there's nothing wrong with, but the one that we're moving on to now has a number of benefits over and above. One of the benefits being connectivity. Another one is the ease of installation. And a third one is how slick and sleek it looks in situ. They're a good unit. We have been testing them for a month or so, and I'm going to give you an overview. We've had quite a few people asking about how easy they are to fit, and that will be in a subsequent video, but this one is just going to be a quick overview of the features and also a little bit of advice on choosing a head unit, because on the face of it they all look very, very, very similar. Here we are in the cabin of your brand new JB74 Generation 4 Jimny Sierra JC or JL from Japan, or you want to upgrade because you have an LCV version from the UK. Either way, it's something that virtually everybody does, because the Japanese ones are of no use, and the UK ones on the light commercial vehicle are so dumbed down. They are, I hate to talk disparagingly, but they're atrocious. So this is the unit that we use now. We used to use a Octa-Core, we're using this one now. First thing that I like about it is such a good fit. It just clips in, it fits in, it looks like it belongs there. It looks like it should have been there from inception, from the factory, but it also, the piano black, as you can see, perfectly matches the fascia around the speedo faces, rev counter, all the faces on there. So what we're going to do is we are going to fire it up, and I will let you see some of the functions that this unit has. Just remember that there is a tear off. The screen is, I'll put all the details up, but it's a 2K high resolution screen. It is glossy. There's your Android Auto, I was doing just fine before I met you, and that is directly connected to my phone, and it's gone straight onto, I don't know if you watched an earlier video where I was at the docks, I put it on and I couldn't quite understand why I didn't go onto my music, and the reason it didn't was because my credit card had expired and I needed to put the new credit card on, and this one, so I lost YouTube Music. So that is my streaming app of choice, YouTube Music. That is UK Radio, which what I would say is that is in my opinion by far the better option if you want DAB, because you've got everything there. When I say this is the better option, I don't mean that this app is the better option. What I mean is using your phone with an app on Android Auto or Apple CarPlay is far better than having a DAB enabled unit, which then has the A-pillar bed, an antenna put onto the A-pillar, which has probably got about 4 decibels of gain. If you're going to do it properly, you really want to be drilling into the roof, putting a shark fin antenna, something along those lines, to get some sort of an antenna with about 20 decibels of gain. But I have never ever had any problem using my phone as the antenna. So and as you can see, you've got heart everything. You can search for things. Heart 80s. And as you can see, we are fully functioning with the steering wheel controls, which is that in itself is quite a huge thing, because previously with the Octa-Core that we used, you had to, well, I mean, I say you had to source, you would have to source it. We have them in stock, but you would have to source an ISO connector. You would have to source an adapter for the aerial. You would also have to source 2 separate cables from a company called Connect2, which would then, and it was not a walk in the park type of an operation, which would then communicate with your steering wheel, whereas this is completely plug and play. You plug it in and it has the ability to communicate with your steering wheel, and everything works from there, which I think that's huge. There's your home screen, which that's the one that I drive with all the time. You've got your sat nav, you have got your music. You can open any one of those to full screen, or you can have them like that. It's a little bit of a grim day, but that's just how it is, and that's unfortunate. This is my home screen with all of my Android Auto on. If you're working with Apple, your CarPlay will be a screen similar to this. You've got everything going on. You have got maps. You've got a maps.me there. We've got Sajit. We've got Waze. We've got TomTom. So just in itself, there's 5 different sat navs there. Obviously, it's whichever you like. They've all got sort of pros and cons. I normally go with either TomTom or Google Maps, because Google Maps, you can drive around the world with it. TomTom in your local area, it does have pros and cons. But then if you want to go out of this, go home, this is your home screen. You can put any of your apps on here that you like. This OBD2, that you would connect an OBD2 wireless dongle onto it, and you will get real-time diagnostics. But it all needs setting up, it all needs connecting. But it's a good tool. You even can read fault codes on your car. Let's go back to the apps. TPMS, that is a legal requirement in the European Union, obviously in the UK, not in Japan. So all the cars that come from Japan, if you get a car from Japan and you think, right, I'm going to put some bigger wheels on, the person you get the wheels from should really say to you, do you want TPMS on? And they will advise you not to get it because your car will not be compatible with it. However, this unit, you can enable TPMS, and we have a set of TPMS transmitters which you put onto each wheel and secure them to them, so you can't lose them, nobody can take them off, and it will report the tyre pressure for each of your wheels, and that's a really good function. Up there you've got a 360 panorama, which is enabled onto this unit because this is one of the top units. That 360 panorama means you can buy a set of front, rear and 2 side cameras. The side cameras go onto the bottom of your door mirrors. They all shoot downwards, and the software in it stitches it all together, and you get a top-down view similar to a Tesla. So for manoeuvring, you see the real time on the ground all the time. It's got lots of other things going on. Often you would need to be connected to the internet. You've got YouTube, which needs a connection, Google, which needs a connection, but all of these need a connection. One thing that I did want to mention though is, if you are looking for a head unit like this, there are a myriad of options and different connections. You will find them on eBay, you will find them on Amazon. A lot of them look very, very, very similar. The analogy that I would give to you is, if you're old enough, obviously, to remember, as PCs got faster and faster and better, they were literally becoming obsolete on a monthly basis because RAM was getting faster, your CPU was getting faster. your hard disks were getting better, everything was getting bigger, you were getting memory was getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So as this went on, all the components that have been produced had to have something done to them. So your lower end computers were getting cheaper and cheaper because the components in them were mind-numbingly slow. So to get a cutting edge one, you had to think, shall I buy it now or shall I buy it in a month's time? It's not such a thing as with regards head units, but what you need to do is, if you're looking at these, you can look on eBay now. You could see one like this for £450. You could see one right next to it for £150. And you may think to yourself, well, is that one rubbish, or is that one somebody who's just trying it on to get as much money as they can? And the simple answer is, you need to look a lot deeper, because you need to look at, I would say, your main criteria are your screen, your processor, your RAM and your ROM. So your screen, this screen is and I'm going to flash up all the specifications of it. This screen is the top one. This is a 2K screen. Pull that off, it's going to be light glass, but it's going to move. There's going to be no lag. There's going to be no lag because it has got, I think, 6 megabytes of RAM, or it might be 8. But I'll put. It's got 100. I think it's got 128 gigabytes of ROM. ROM is your memory. So if you want to put some films in, if you want to put all your record collection in, if you want to put all your photos in, you can host everything on here. You can't really say I want lots of RAM and hardly any ROM, because they both go up together, if that makes sense. And the processor, so your £150 unit may have a very, very basic processor, 1 or 2 gigabytes of RAM, and a very low resolution screen. So although you can get these very, very cheap, they will not give you any sort of display like this. This is just showcasing what sort of thing you can expect with the colours, and they are so super vibrant. But not just that, if you see as I'm scrolling through, and again that needs to come off, and it is super, and I hope you're getting the resolution of this, because it is so sharp, so punchy, but no lag on it. So when your sat nav is refreshing, if you're watching any videos that are refreshing, you see the clouds are moving smoothly. It's like going into Curry's and looking at a really, really cheap basic one, and then where you go up to the super wide screens that are, and you look at them and you think, wow, it's like water. It is so almost touchable. It is so believable. That's what this head unit's like. We've got these in stock. We are. This is the one that we're fitting to all of our cars. Going forwards, I will make a video, because a couple of people have asked if they buy one of these from a distance rather than coming to us to have it fitted, how easy are they to fit? They are a breeze to install. When I say the basic items, which would be just to get it running like this. There are other considerations, such as your microphone. We normally put it up there. Your GPS, we normally put it either in the back of there or behind this unit, which means running it all the way around. You've got a dash cam if you want to install it. You've got a reversing camera. The reversing camera is probably the most labour intensive, because to do it properly, you need to take out the glove box, you need to take out the trim over the step, you need to take out the rear seats, you need to take out the side panel, and you need to take off the bumper. You can get away with it, and we got a car the other week that somebody else had fitted, and it was a brand new car. they'd fitted a reversing camera in, and for us to take the bumper off, we had to cut the reversing camera off, which was disappointing because and also there wasn't enough room on the cable for us to reroute it properly through the bumper. We will show you the proper way to install a reversing camera, and as long as you are reasonably confident, it's all doable. But that's all the apps, and again, you will where is it? There should be alphabetical. Play Store there. All you need to do is get yourself near the house, connect the unit to your Wi-Fi or your phone if you like. Go to the Play Store, look for any apps, download the apps, or just do a Google search, look at anything that you were interested in, check that it's compatible with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, download it to your phone, and it will appear on your Android Auto. A couple of little things that you can control. Just a little bit of fun, I'm guessing. And that is real-time diagnostics. You've got your music on there. You have got a compass, if that's something you need, and you've got a mile per hour, great big mile per hour one for people who like a digital output. But that is basically the head unit that we're going forward with. On just one more thing, when I mentioned about the surround, that's the surround that ships with the car. This is the surround that ships with the new Jimneys. So that is the size of the aperture, so that's the size of the head unit that goes in it. And it is completely a matter of taste. I prefer this surround because it matches this. You've got a far bigger screen than that, but I've also seen smaller ones inside there, and I've also seen upgrades where the bezel is really thick. And if your screen is getting smaller, it's not an upgrade. Get in touch if you want more details.